Well, I think the biggest thing with Owen is he took advantage of his freshman year and he played a lot, much like Nolan and John have for us. And he's used those experiences to make himself a better player. He's bigger, he's stronger. I think he's in better shape. I know he's battled a little bit of injury here lately, but he's leading the scoring. He leads in rebounding, top shot blockers in the league. So he's just really maximized his experience last year to take another step.
Go ahead. I was going to say, you've been through this Christmas break thing many years. What's kind of the key to making sure guys kind of stay sharp so that you're really ready to go jumping on the big
Yeah,
time?
I mean, we've tried to simulate game action as much as possible. We took 4 days off and we came back for 3, and we made one of those days a game day. And then we took another day off and 3 days in a row again. And we've done a lot of simulation type things. And you're not going to ever exactly replicate what a game is, but we've tried to, and especially if we're playing against Iowa because of the transition defensively that we're going to be really sharp at. We tried to stimulate that as much as you can. Scout team hasn't taken the ball out in a week out of bounds. They just grabbed it and gone with it. So it's still, in a perfect world, we'd love to play the game in between, but you're only allowed 31 games, so we have to choose a long time ago where we were going to take the break. The thing is, we're going to have to. We're going to be really good at transition defensively. I think a lot of pressure that way, and having a first game back that requires that is obviously a challenge.
Stephen Crowell said he's really happy with the way this team has come together, the cohesiveness. Are you proud of the way that this team, with how you piece it together and all that fun stuff during the summer? But I mean, this team really seems like they're having a good time together.
Yeah, I think that's a credit first and foremost to our players that they've in this new world that, as you mentioned, alluded to. There's a lot of new faces that come from a variety of places. Not just all freshmen walking in here. So their ability to bond and come together and I think have a mindset of team first has been really important for our success so far. So our staff has done a really good job of kind of vetting those that we took through the portal and making sure you find the right fit. Obviously, you have to have talented players, but finding that, making sure that cohesiveness happens specifically in this world. It's more of a challenge than ever, but it's probably more important than ever to make sure you're all on the same page and try to bond as fast as you can.
Greg, you talked about the quickness of the recruiting out of the portal. How many people did you talk to about Tanja's coachability? You praised that a lot with how he's been able to take coaching. Did you have to do a deep dive into that?
No, just basically one, Colorado State, and that got us the answer we needed to have. And just talking to him, doing the first Zoom call with him, you can tell he's very grounded, very mature.
How has he handled the break? How have you seen him kind of grow after kind of the rough start?
He's the one guy that only walks in with a cup of coffee. He's the only one that comes in. He's like me, the elder statesman. He comes in with coffee every morning. So, I think he's mature. He's independent. He obviously is older than everybody else, so he has his own routine. So, but when it comes time to do team stuff, and he's in here early, comes in and does individual shooting on his own. So he's done what he needs to do, and like I said, he's been very coachable, and he's been a really good teammate.
You mentioned with the long break, they're just kind of sick of playing against each other.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that?
Yeah, you could tell they came back, specifically the last 3 days. They know now what's coming, what's in front of us. And, for the next 3 months, we've got deep water in front of us with 18 really good league games coming at us, but they're excited to be back. They know where we're at, how good we can be, and now it's why you do this. You want to get to games. Practice is great, and I really try to make practice really super fun, put a lot of frosting on it and everything, but they know. They want games. They want to play, and that's what we got. Fortunately, jumping back into it tomorrow night.
You mentioned with John Blackwell that you can't forget what got him the minutes in the first place with the offensive rebounding and stuff like that.
Right.
What do you remember about kind of the early season, maybe like film session or whatever, that was kind of reintroduced to him?
I don't know if it was a film session as much as just pointing out obvious things, playing harder, being more engaged all the time, and he's got a lot on his plate, so it's easy to, try to take a break at times because maybe he needs one. I need to do a better job of getting him in, getting him out. But his numbers his numbers of assists and even his numbers in practice, the assist numbers have jumped, and that tells me he's more comfortable. Obviously, he didn't play any point last year, but to put all that on his plate this year and have him, be able to facilitate, be able to lead other guys, but the numbers that I watch, we track everything in practice too. Just like the last couple games, the assist numbers have jumped. They've jumped in practice, so I think he understands how he can impact the team in a variety of ways, and we just got to keep pushing him towards that.
When he's engaged, like what makes him a good
He's just really complete. I mean, yeah, he has a nose for the ball. He's got some toughness to him, and he's a complete player. He does everything, and he understands that. And I think he understood that from day one last year as a freshman. That's what allowed him to get on the court so early. Is he understand the importance of the little things. That wasn't. You're not going to come in and make a splash by scoring as a freshman. Very few are able to do that. And you have older guys that are more ingrained in that, or more mature to be able to do that. You get on the floor by doing the other little things and making yourself trustworthy to the staff. And I think that's what he did right away last year. And then, as I always tell him, the offense becomes low-hanging fruit. It'll fall in your lap, but do those other little things really well first, and that'll get you on the floor. And you have to be on the floor in order to score. So if you defend, take care of the ball, and obviously he has a knack for rebounding that gives him more avenues in which he can help his team.
Has his play changed how you approach the point guard role as you evolve? Or is this kind of just hoping to get?
Yeah, no, I think we're always trying to make people better, right? And trying to have him push the bar in terms of his game. I think he's really good in transition. That was really the first sign, probably back in October, that he had to put the ball in his hands more. Actually, in this close scrimmage against Northern Iowa, we really saw him in the second half take over with the ball in his hands, and that was kind of a telltale sign for us. We had thought about it as a staff. We talked about it. We experimented a little bit, but we had to stop dipping our toe in the water and really jump in with that and make a full commitment to him having the ball as much as we could.
Max is his assist are up, assist turnover ratio is a lot better than last year. I guess I'm wondering what stands out to you in terms of his decision making, and maybe what's kind of gone into those numbers being better.
I think his game has improved in terms of understanding playing off 2 feet. Even though he doesn't do it consistently all the time, he's better with it, and that'll cut down on your turnovers right there. I think the group that plays around him is very unselfish. So, and he's got guys that have made shots, so you're going to get an assist when somebody makes a shot. And so I think it's a combination of he's understood better at what he can do with the ball and what he can't do. And when you do make plays into the paint, playing off 2 feet, turning down mid-range shots as much as you can, even though sometimes they're very inviting. And then the teammates around him do a good job of completing plays when he's made one.
What happened to Riccardo?
He got banged. He got kind of in a 4-on-4 transition drill, got caught up or got hit on a rebound, and fortunately it's not as serious as what we initially thought when it happened. So he's going to be out for some time, but it's not going to require any type of surgery or anything like that. So he got hit pretty hard from the front and went down hard. But like I said, we're fortunate that it's not serious. He's going to be out for a little while as he heals up a little bit. But like I said, it's better in terms of the information we got from our doctors than when we initially watched it happen. I thought it was not good. It's obviously not good when he's out, but making sure that he'll be back in time.
You were obviously pleased with how he was kind of developing, and it hasn't happened on the court yet. But I guess what's an injury like this, and I guess the ability to kind of come back and keep developing.
I mean, that's a long road to develop. That ain't going to happen in a short amount of time. And part of that's the body composition continuing to change and get stronger. I mean, he's stronger than when he was when he's got here. I don't know if he had seen a weight room before he came here. So that's Coach Snyder's got a big project there as he goes forward to get him really strong and in functional strength. I think that's the biggest thing that he needs to continue to acquire.
Does his time away affect the way you want to run things in practice?
No. He was doing most of his reps with the scout team, so it's one less body there. But Chris Hodges has been able to fill in and do some of that, and I can always shuttle guys back and forth if I need to. Off my group, we'll flip flop back and forth. So we're getting to the point in the time of the year too where we start to dial back practice. It's not going to be the 2-hour sessions. Continually try to peel back a little bit as we start playing game after game here, and as we get into turn the calendar, we start to just do game prep and try to minimize the load that we're doing during practice.
You mentioned a while back that Xavier was playing with the scout team some. Is that still happening? Will that happen more now that Riccardo?
Yeah, it could. I mean, well, it's not necessarily indicative just because Ricky's out. It's good for Xavier to go get some reps there. I think it's helped Marcus over. He's practiced really well. You thought he played well against Detroit. They're going to try to get Marcus on the floor and in the mix. And I think it's good for players that they can get more reps, they get better competition over there because they're obviously playing against our starters in our short rotation of 8. So it helps. I think anytime guys can go play and be in the mix and have to really compete, it's important. And with or without Riccardo, I'll continue to use that to help Xavier because that's going to help expedite his development.
Greg, obviously,
Go ahead, Nick.
obviously Iowa returned a lot from last year, but somebody that's got a little bit more on their plate this year is Brock Harding. What have you seen from him at that lead guard spot at some of these facilities?
I think much like I was asking about Owen Freeman to begin with, I think Brock having the experience he got behind Tony Freeman and the other guards last year has helped him. He's now playing much more confidently. Obviously, he brings it in transition, puts a lot of pressure on you. He probes really well. I mean, 76 assists, 29 turnovers. He's making the right decision a lot, and that's a lot of assists. And they move the ball really well. I said earlier, they're a really connected team. You can tell by how it moves, and they got a lot of guys that can score. Putting Peyton Sanford at the 4 at times really stresses you defensively because now you got 4 guards. But Brock does a good job of reading the lead big that's running to the rim. Typically it's Freeman. And then just probing and finding shooters that are running, whether it's the 2 Sanford brothers or Josh Dix or whoever it may be. But he's taken a jump in his game, which you would expect, much like the experience that Nolan and John got for us last year. It's helped him into year 2. So he's doing a lot of good things for him.
Going in this portal era, I guess I'm wondering if you envision. It seems like there's maybe been a shift of where the older guys are maybe valued more, and it seems like maybe once upon a time it was the star freshmen. You still get the star freshmen that are impactful, but it also seems like there's kind of been a balance of teams being able to get help from these older guys that's kind of balance the scale a little bit when teams have these really talented younger
Experience is key. And you look at the history of this program for the 20 plus years. I think that our older teams and more mature teams have competed toe to toe with really talented individual players in other places that are maybe McDonald's All-Americans or whatever it may be. The experience is the level. That's the equalizer. So you see the same thing in the portal. That's the old phrase of get old and stay old. We used to be able to redshirt guys and incubate them and have them for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. Now it's changed. Philosophy is still the same. How you go about doing it's a little bit different. So you acquire more of your experience through the portal, and you have guys that have gone and played in other places and incubated, so to speak, matured, developed, and have come in with some game experience. So they've played 2, 3 years somewhere else, and now they're not wide-eyed and in awe of the college environment. They've been there, they've done that regardless of where it is. I think we're learning more about recruiting the portal in terms of making sure when we do it, really making sure we recruit from programs that we know are successful. How are they coached is important. What is the structure like in that program? Not just grabbing guys. It's really where they're coming from and how they've been coached or have they been coached is important, and that helps them. With great examples, John Tonje. You knew he got coached really well at Colorado State by Nico, and it gave him a head start coming in here. He had been in a program where there was structure and accountability, and I think you're just seeing the result of that here in 1 year with us.
Everybody's arms about to fall off.
You guys all good?
Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Thank you.